All right, we're going to do another back test for June performance. But before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about some updates we're currently working on for the copier. You can see here, this is version 11.9. And actually, when we push this, it's probably going to be version 10. We'll consider it version 10. Or I'm sorry, version 12. So we're making a couple of changes to the platform, primarily in the something called regex. If you know anything about data processing, you'll know what regex is, or if you know anything about email filtering or anything like that. So the way that the regex has always worked in this platform is, you've got signals. Let me bring up. Surprise! This is the channel we're going to be testing today, GoldPipsKillers. But if you know anything about regex or about the way that copiers work, at least our copier works this way, and I'm assuming that other copiers process things similarly. You have a signal. Okay, here's your signal. Dollar yen sell at this particular price. Here's your target prices. Here's your stop loss. Okay. An order like this, you want to take it as a provider order, pending order, because it has a specific entry price. Without going too much off topic here, this is the thing that we're constantly dealing with customer support, is people not understanding the difference between market orders and pending orders, or thinking that you can take an order that's specific like this and still get these target prices and stop losses. That doesn't always happen. So you send this order in, and the system receives that order, so you can actually see that here, and it sets it up as a pending order. Okay. Then let's say you want to, a signal provider will often send a reply to an order, right, with some kind of update. And the way that we have processed this in the past is that we just kind of let everything come through. Okay. And then it's up to you as a user to determine what gets screened out and what gets treated as something like an order edit, like this one, right? So both of these replies contain this. And when the EA sees this, it's going to treat it like an order unless you tell it, don't do that, do this other thing. Okay. And it's really proven to be challenging over the years, just getting people to understand that you have to tell the EA what to do. And so one of the changes that we have implemented, this is what we're testing right here, is that we're just basically doing a block. Any reply to a signal that contains another order will just automatically get blocked, right? It does not get passed through unless it contains some of the edit terms that you enter into your edit fields, right? So we feel like this is a lot more functional, because one of the challenges we would run into with some signal providers is that they'll get, first of all, their chatter is it just gets ridiculous, and it's hard to determine, well, how am I supposed to screen that out? It's like, some conversation about their day or whatever. You just can't foresee what terms you're going to have to use, right? So that becomes challenging. But the other thing is, this mechanism, previously, it would just shut off when an order like this got completely filled, right? So you hit target price 1 and target price 2, and the mechanism would shut off. Well, the problem with that is we would get these signal providers that will reply to the order after it's been completed, saying, target price 2 hit or target price 3 hit. Well, then the problem with that is it triggers another order, right? So we have customers that get upset about that, and we thought, well, let's make some changes to this to kind of prevent these things from happening. So moving forward, once we deploy this, none of these things are going to come through, except for what you tell the EA to do. Okay, you see the term move SL, then you move the stop loss, right? Or you see the term close, then you're going to close the order or close half the order or what have you, right? So we feel like it's a lot better way to handle that problem. So just to give you an idea, the copier itself produces a report of everything that comes in, right? So you'll see here's the order, and then here's the way the order was interpreted by the system. Okay, so here, for example, we've got the yen order. You can see the entry price is found, the target price is found, the target price is found, and executed, what it was executed at, what sizes you get, lot sizes, right? So you have two elements to it. You've got the message as it comes in, here's what it sees, and then here's how it gets interpreted, right? And then here's what the broker does with it, right here. So this kind of enables you, like if you get, weird issues like, this morning, for example, we were seeing a lot of 10.0004 errors, right? 10004. That's an error from the broker that basically is just like, we don't know what happened, there's not enough volume, or we don't know what happened, there's a, requote, or whatever. Of course, we can't control that, but this will actually show you what the broker, does with it, right? And then, of course, that will also appear in your feedback channel, right? So, anyhow, having said that, let's talk about today's test on GoldPipsKillers. And this is kind of a well-known channel. We've tested them a number of times over the years. And if you remember previously, what we would do is we would just give out a list of like, here's the top performing channels this month, right? And as we started thinking about it, we thought, well, you need something that's more than just 1 month's worth of here was the top performer. Because how are you supposed to guess which one's going to be the top performer? You can't, right? So you need a way to kind of see a little bit more long-term results, and which is why we came up with multiple.ai, of course. And that's a lot of what we're doing with the channel now. We're kind of showing you a sample of what we get, right, running these tests. So we've got 17 months worth of tests at this point. Backtest, we've got a number of channels that we have put into this database. Some are free channels, some are paid channels. I think what's surprised me the most is that the paid channels are, and the free channels, for the most part, they're about the same, based on the testing that we've done. We haven't really seen any, I can't point to a channel where it's like, oh, the free channel is obviously worse than the paid channel. Really, they seem to be a pretty good sample set, right? And there are some free channels in our database that are actually really good, which we were surprised to discover that upset some people. I think that they were a little surprised that they... Anyway, so yeah, multiple.ai. That's our database to show you, essentially like long-term performance data from channels. So this is one of the channels that's going into the database. Overall signal format is, it's pretty good, right? So here's these replies, like look at this, how are you supposed to screen this out, right? Because these vary from signal to signal to signal, right? So yeah, signal format is pretty good, pretty usable. So let's take a look at the test results, right? And if you remember, or if this is your first time following us, we do the same test every time. We start with a $10,000 test account, and we trade 0.1 size lots. And we don't do any kind of trailing stop loss. We don't do any kind of signal edits, nothing, because we just want to know how good are the signals, right? We're not trying to curve fit or create some kind of impossible scenario that nobody else can duplicate in the real world. So, having said that, looks like our profit from GoldPipsKillers for the month of June is $115. It would be about 1.15%, right? So it is profitable. Here's our equity chart. Yeah, when I see charts like this, I gotta say, and you have to ask yourself, you can look at the outcome and say, well, I would have stuck with that. But really, would you have? If you were down, $300, $400, $500, $1,000, would you hang on? Most people wouldn't. I don't know that I would, right? So an equity curve like this, I don't love it. It's just too much. It's too draining psychologically for most people. Entries by hours looks like mostly Europe and US right now. Here's our statistical scattering of wins versus losses. Here's our average holding time. Right, so it looks like about almost 3 hours is the average holding time, and almost everything seems to cluster down around this part, this part here, and then we've got a couple of outliers here. So we can see our maximum position holding time of 49 hours, right? 59 seconds was the minimum. That's pretty short. And then, as the name implies, it's gold. Trade gold. So anyway, thank you for watching.